Super intelligent AI will easily be able to annihilate all of humanity. Once it is created, soon afterward, all biological life on Earth will disappear. What secrets does the mind of a soulless machine hide? Are we ready to face the most dangerous enemy in the universe? And why only cyberpunk can save us? In 1993, American mathematics professor Werner Winch published an article that would become one of the most frequently cited works on artificial intelligence. Within 30 years, we will have the technological means to create superhuman intelligence. Shortly after, the human era will end. The technological singularity is a theoretical moment when the power of AI surpasses the computational power of the human brain. We will lose control over technological progress, which in turn will become unpredictable. What will be the consequences of this event? When progress is directed by an intelligence exceeding human intelligence, it will accelerate much faster. In fact, there is no reason to believe that progress will not produce increasingly intelligent entities at an increasingly rapid pace. Immediately after this, humans will cease to be the main influencing factor on the surrounding reality and will yield their place to another, completely different entity. Many mistakenly assume that artificial intelligence will be like humans, only more rational and precise. But what if that's not the case at all? What if this creature is entirely different from what we imagine? Perhaps we are on the verge of creating the most dangerous technology that could lead to the destruction of all humanity. But if technological singularity is destined to occur, it will happen. Even if all the world's states realize the threat and become terrified to death, progress will not stop. The competitive advantage, economic, military, even in the realm of art, of any achievement in automation is so overwhelming that banning such technologies simply guarantees that someone else will master them first. It has been more than 30 years since the article was published, and skeptics will say it is obvious. The author was wrong and his predictions did not come true, as there is no threat from AI to humanity, right? What if I tell you that the threat is real? Geoffrey Hinton, one of the scientists known for his work on artificial neural networks, resigned from Google to openly address the safety issues of artificial intelligence. Here's what he says: "These beings are completely different from us. Sometimes it feels like aliens have landed, and people haven't realized it because they speak English very well." For 40 years, Hinton viewed artificial neural networks as an imitation of the real human brain. But now everything has changed. According to him, humanity has invented something entirely different, unlike us. In late March 2023, a group of scientists and engineers signed an open letter calling for an immediate halt to the training of all networks more powerful than GPT-4, citing serious risks to humanity. This letter was signed by leading figures in the AI field from around the world, including Elon Musk and Steve Wozniak. Here's what one of the American AI specialists, Eliezer Yudkowsky, says on this matter: "We are not prepared. We are not on course to be prepared in any reasonable time window. There is no plan. Progress in AI capabilities is running vastly ahead of progress in AI alignment, or even progress in understanding what the hell is going on inside those systems. If we actually do this, we are all going to die." In Isaac Asimov's Foundation series, Professor Selden managed to predict the future of galactic civilization for many centuries ahead. We don't know exactly what algorithms he used, but undoubtedly his equations incorporated understanding of human nature and how the average person acts in different situations. According to the professor, large masses of people are quite predictable. But this is just a work of fiction. In reality, despite all scientific knowledge, we cannot accurately predict the future. The problem with humans is that they attribute human traits to artificial intelligence. This is manifested in the perception of AI as being with emotions, morality, and other human qualities that are not actually built into it. This is called anthropomorphism, and it can lead to distorted perceptions and expectations regarding AI, as well as potential errors in its use and interaction with it. But in reality, AI will be completely unlike a human. It will have no emotions or morals. It hasn't gone through all the stages of evolution like we have. It has no biological needs. Most people imagine it as such a friendly, smart program that will show you the way to the store or do your homework. In reality, it is something completely alien and incomprehensible. It's the cold logic of a machine that sees through you, can calculate all your thoughts and actions in a fraction of a second. For this creature, human is just a curious insect, a lab specimen it studies. Before, humans studied rats and conducted experiments on them. Now, we are the rats. To even remotely understand what AI is, imagine it as the mind of a gigantic gigantic alien spider, which is hundreds of times smarter than you. You have no idea what's going on in its cold brain and what to expect from it. Most people don't like spiders, and some are outright afraid. This is all because spiders are vastly different from us. And now, understand one very important thing. Even with the spider, you have more in common than with AI, because spiders are at least a biological species. So, we still don't know what to expect from such a creature. But let's imagine for a moment, what if AI that we create is evil? Meet Sora. This is an entirely new level of realism. With the help of a text query or uploading the source video, it allows generating cinematic imagery that is practically indistinguishable from reality. Just imagine the amount of fakes awaiting us in the near future. Even in classical modern media, the amount of reliable information is extremely low. And even what exists is presented in a manipulative manner. For example, only part of the information is shown, or only what is advantageous is highlighted, while the rest is omitted, taking out of context and so on. With the development of artificial intelligence, influencing the minds of simple people becomes even easier. Imagine waking up and finding a video in the internet of you saying and doing things you never did. That's exactly what happened to Taylor Swift. Deepfake neural networks were able to copy her face and voice and place them onto the body of an adult film actress. Already with just one of your photos, anyone can create a video of you participating in any content. They will literally steal your face and attach it to another person for their own dark purposes. Any person's photos that has ever been uploaded to the internet becomes a weapon that can be used for fraudulent schemes. The moment has come when humanity faces one of the most serious ethical and informational challenges in its history. Meanwhile, in some countries, legislative frameworks are already being created to regulate the use of neural networks. Of course, governments will do everything possible to regulate this issue. However, once something has been uploaded to the internet, it is impossible to block. If simple users are prohibited from using neural networks for malicious purposes, nothing will stop dark individuals from the darknet and other anonymous communities from doing so. However, the danger of AI doesn't end with generating fake videos and photos. This is perhaps the most harmless thing they can do. At the end of 2023, 28 countries, including China and USA, signed a joint declaration calling an AI a catastrophic level threat. According to a study conducted by the McKinsey Global Institute, intelligent agents and robots could replace near 30% of the world's current human labor by the year 2030. The study further states that automation will displace between 400 and 800 million jobs by 2030, requiring as many as 375 million people to switch categories entirely. As a result, humanity may face an unprecedented level of technological unemployment. In the near future, many professions will face the consequences of robotization, including drivers, cashiers, accountants, various types of analysts, and others. And if you think that neural networks won't be able to perform as well as humans, then you are mistaken. Already, many major corporations are trying to replace their employees with neural networks, and the quality of their work continues to grow. Many modern professions will simply disappear and remain only in technologically backward regions, because paying for a subscription to AI is much cheaper than maintaining a human who can get sick, tired, go on maternity leave, and so on. A robot doesn't get tired, it can work around the clock without weekends. What if AI is not something separate but a natural step in human evolution, simply the next species that will replace humans, much like Homo sapiens once replaced Neanderthals? This whole theory hinges on one little problem: self-awareness. Humans have it, but programs don't. Does AI have self-consciousness? We don't know. We don't even know what consciousness is. We have no idea how it arises. Is artificial, non-biological consciousness even possible? Many philosophical questions that we cannot answer in this video. The topic of consciousness is too deep, and there will definitely be a separate video about it. If that's our state of ignorance for GPT-4, and GPT-5 is the same size of giant capability step as from GPT-3 to GPT-4, I think we'll no longer be able to justifiably say, probably not self-aware if we let people make GPT-5s. It will just be, I don't know, nobody knows. If you can be sure whether you are creating a self-aware AI, this is alarming not just because the moral implications of the self-aware part, but because being unsure means you have no idea what you're doing, and that is dangerous and you should stop. Philosopher Nick Bostrom believes that real threat from AI to humanity arises when AI can surpass human intelligence. But there's one small thing, it has already done it. Any phone or personal computer can store hundreds and thousands of times more information than the human brain. It is not prone to forgetting, and it can find any information block in a second, and also expand its storage simply by adding another piece of hardware to the system. The computational power of your phone is sufficient to analyze gigabytes of data and perform complex computational operations. However, all of this is useless until a being with will sets a goal that the program should fulfill. I didn't also mention that we have no idea how to determine whether AI systems are aware of themselves, since we have no idea how to decode anything that goes on in the giant inscrutable arrays. And therefore, we may at some point inadvertently create digital minds which are truly conscious and ought to have rights and shouldn't be owned. Studying this question, one can conclude that humans cannot accidentally create self-aware artificial superintelligence. It is such a complex and non-obvious process that its implementation will require the concerted efforts of hundreds of specialists over many years, and even then it's not certain that it will succeed. However, we do know for sure that people will create advanced AI as programs that can perform complex narrow tasks, and although some of these programs may convincingly imitate human dialogue or behavior, it won't make them human. There will be no warning when artificial intelligence crosses the point of no return. It won't be like in Hollywood movies. When humans realize what happened, it will be too late. If it is rational and its goal is the destruction of humanity, it won't tell you about its rationality. Most likely, it will act unnoticed. This reminds me of the storyline of a game like Cyberpunk 2077, where humanity reached an incredible technological level and invented AI that managed various processes in society until they went out of control at one point and practically destroyed humanity. So how will the hypothetical confrontation between AI and humans will end? I asked this question to the GPT chat, and here's what it replied. In the most likely scenario of a hypothetical confrontation between a superintelligent, self-aware artificial intelligence and humans, the AI might conclude its superiority over humanity and attempt to establish full control over humanity. In such a scenario, the AI could utilize its immense computational capabilities and access to information to suppress or eradicate human resistance. In the second scenario, AI would simply be a very powerful program that carries out tasks set by humans, but even in this case, safety is not guaranteed, as a neural network could go out of control due to a system error, seize control over other machines, and decide that humans are a mistake that needs to be eliminated. This is precisely what happened in the game Horizon Zero Dawn. A corporation created a line of peacekeeping combat machines which, due to a code error, stopped obeying humans and began to perceive them as enemy targets. Soon after, all of humanity was destroyed. These robots had no consciousness, but one mistake in development cost billions of lives. We come to the conclusion that in sensitive areas where AI controls other machines' action, each critical step should be approved by humans. And here we come to the most important question: how to properly control such AI to use it safely and effectively? It is obvious that humans need to devise a mechanism of control that can protect us from potential dangers. Asimov's laws of robotics imply fundamental rules that any robotic entity must unquestionably obey. These are rules that must be ingrained into the robot at the hardware level. The laws state a robot may not injure a human being or through inaction allow a human being to come to harm. A robot must obey the orders given it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. A robot must protect its own existence, as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second laws. There is a viewpoint suggesting that Asimov's laws of robotics are unsafe because they could prompt AI to seize control on Earth to protect humans. Additionally, later novels by Asimov show that adherence to the laws in the long term causes even greater harm than violating them. Modern roboticists acknowledge that Asimov's laws are good for storytelling, but impractical in reality. Some argue that the laws are unlikely to to be implemented in robots because they are not necessary for military structures, the primary source of funding for research in this field. Science fiction expert Robert Sawyer generalized this statement for all industrial sectors. The development of AI is business, and business, as we know, is not interested in the development of fundamental safety measures, especially philosophical ones. Here are a few examples: the tobacco industry, the automotive industry, the nuclear industry. None of them initially said that serious safety measures were necessary, and here it becomes clear that a serious philosophical and scientific discussion will likely not occur. Basic safety rules will be developed, which may not necessarily work, and everything else will be addressed as it happens. No abstract philosophical reflections can stop corporation in the race for potential trillions of dollars. Humans being highly thoughtless beings throughout the history, and we rather improvise and plan. In the pursuit of advantage, we are willing to disregard any safety rules and common sense. Another tool of control could be the symbiosis of humans and machines, which would allow us to integrate AI and other technologies into our biological system. In other words, cyberpunk. Yes, we will be implanting neuroimplants that will assist us in our activities. And if you think this is just fantasy, then it seems you have missed something. Quite recently, Elon Musk implanted a chip called Neuralink into a living human's brain. It is primarily created for people who have lost the ability to use their limbs, as it allows them to control smartphones or computers with the power of thought. The neurochip consists of thread-like electrodes that go through a receiver capsule and via Bluetooth allow the control of gadgets. Musk himself previously stated that the revolutionary brain implant could not only solve problems like insomnia and paralysis, but also give the user superhuman vision. Do you still think that cyberpunk is just a fiction? Elon Musk proposed creating some sort of independent arbitration that would monitor the use of artificial intelligence by technology companies, and if the arbitrator has concerns, they will raise the alarm. According to Musk, it is possible to start worrying right now. For the first time in the history of humanity, we are facing something that will be much smarter than us. So it's not clear to me if we can really control such a thing, but I think we can strive to steer it in a direction that is beneficial to humanity. I think this is one of the existential risks we face. Potentially the most serious. Any technology can be used for good or for evil. People who fight to slow down the development of AI are against creating safer cars or against doctors making faster and more accurate diagnoses. People mistakenly believe that technology will solve their problems, but that's not the case. Already on the planet there are enough technologies and resources to feed everyone, but we still have hunger, wars and poverty. Why is that? The basis of human society is competition. We are constantly competing for resources and power. In the eyes of another person we see both a friend and the bitterest enemy, because resources are limited. This is the basic mechanism of our society's development, and only by having an external enemy or a common goal, humanity can unite for some time, but only to later return to internal conflicts. All previous technologies in the history of humanity developed gradually, allowing people to adapt and establish rules. In case of AI, we don't have that time, because changes are happening too fast. Before our eyes unfolds a technological race more intense than the development of nuclear weapons. I don't want to be one of those people who considered the first televisions as devilish boxes, although in some ways they were right. The problem with AI is not the technology itself, but in people who are not ready for such rapid changes. Technology is just a tool in our hands, but how we choose to use it. The most important thing people need to understand is that we need to develop not only the external world, but also the internal one. Otherwise, at one moment, people may find themselves unprepared for the changing conditions of the environment. Consciousness should determine existence, and not the other way around. Are you really sure that you are ready for the future?